Hi, I'm Hui Ren and I'm here to talk about multitasking. I've been consciously multitasking for the past 5-ish years and it's worked out great for me. So I'm here to share my experience with you today. My talk will have two parts. The first regarding the current academic study in this field, and the latter of my own opinion on how to multitask. So in recent years, more studies have found that multitasking is bad. A quick Google search, Wikipedia, or even CFG tells you so. However, what they're referring to is actually switch tasking. When you switch your attention between multiple things at once, as defined by Dave Crenshaw in his book, The Myth of Multitasking. So, research has found that there are such things called switching costs, aka the time you spend switching between your tasks. As a result, this kills your productivity, and switch tasking is agreed to be less efficient. However, Crenshaw also suggests this idea called background tasking. He defines it as when something mindless or mundane occurs in the background. For example, eating dinner while listening to Polymath, like the guy over there. He claims that this is a more productive way of multitasking. When discussing productivity, there's also this concept known as flow, or more commonly, the zone. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi defines flow as the state in which people are so involved in an activity that nothing else seems to matter. For example, have you ever focused on doing something so much that you've forgotten to eat your meals? That's an example of when you're in the flow. Flow has 8 different characteristics, but due to the lack of time, I shall only focus on 4 in this presentation. So yeah, the basic requirements for flow is to have a balance between the degree of challenge and the skill and confidence level you have in the activity, as depicted in this graph. I also like to highlight these 4 characteristics of flow. You have complete concentration on the task, you are clear of your goals, the experience is rewarding by itself, and you have a feeling of control over the task. So how does this lead to multitasking? We ask ourselves what is productivity. Flow claims that it requires complete concentration on the task, while multitasking, which is supposed to be more productive, by definition, seems to contradict the requirement for flow. Is flow and multitasking binary options, or is it possible for them to reconcile? From this point onwards, I'd like to share my own opinion on how to multitask. I like to think of multitasking as an input-output approach. Disclaimer, this may not work for everybody because they are merely my own theories. However, I hope that this will have some use for devising your own logic of multitasking. So, as some of you might know, I call myself an addicted multitasker. I literally cannot work without multitasking. Here are some screenshots I dug out over the past 3 years as a tiny little humble brag. So simple things like playing 3 games at once, or watching 2 webcasts at 2 times speed. But enough of that. What do I mean by input-output approach? I like to think of every task we do as giving us some inputs and requiring some outputs from us. We have multiple inputs, such as, but not limited to, our 5 senses. Our brain then processes these inputs and produces outputs required for the task we are doing. For example, some tasks require you to move your mouse, or like if you are doing your reading, you'll be to comprehend what it is saying. This framework will serve as the basis for my ideas, starting with why people think they cannot multitask. We normally run into a bottleneck in these 2 areas, inputs and outputs, or in processing. A bottleneck in inputs will be like trying to watch 2 movies at the same time. There's a clash in your visual and auditory inputs, which results badly. A bottleneck in processing could be like doing my super hard math homework while trying to write my WCT essay at the same time. It's impossible. These clashes are why most people think they cannot multitask. My solution? I think multitasking requires planning and self-awareness. Planning what tasks you want to do together, while being self-aware of your own limits. I return to the concepts of switch tasking and background tasking, as I think both of them are useful tools in trying to multitask. Switch tasking allows you to do other things when you have downtime in your main task. For example, if you are playing like chess or something and you're waiting for your opponent to move. In the meantime, you can work on your overdue assignment because you spend way too much time trying to get plus 2K rating at chess.com. However, you also want to lower your switching costs so that you spend less effort switching between your tasks. Essentially, just have things on standby. You can put your book in front of you, even though you're focusing on your game of chess. You can just look down and read whenever you want, instead of having to flip to the page you were at. This lowers your switching costs and allows you to multitask more efficiently. I'll now move on to background tasking. Let me remind you that background tasking is about doing something mindless and mundane in the background. Our goal here is to maximize our inputs and outputs. For example, if you're doing work, because that's all we ever do, you're using presumably your hands, eyes, and your thinking. Listening to music thus fills up your auditory senses, and is an example of background tasking. So, how do you get more efficient in background tasking? First, you can expand what is considered as mindless. In the previous example, listening to music is mindless. That's pretty common. However, if you get used to something, it will become mindless to you eventually. You can expand this range of activities to include more difficult things, such as, I don't know, playing poker or something. Another thing you can try to do is to increase the number of inputs and outputs you have. This sounds crazy, but you're not going more hands or anything. I mean like being able to watch 2 videos at once, or listening to 2 different conversations. As humbly read, it is possible for me to watch 2 webcasts at once. The main bottleneck we are dealing with here is mainly processing ability, but with enough practice, anybody can do it. To return to the concept of flow, a key determinant of productivity, I have personally experienced being in flow many times for multitasking, and I think that they are reconcilable concepts. I like to think of the task as everything I'm doing, and by maxing out my abilities, it forces me to completely concentrate on the whole task, which is a characteristic of flow. And as mentioned, to multitask, you have to plan. So when you plan, you are clear of what your goals are, and you know what you want to do. Task, it gives you a feeling of control, since you're not getting just swept along by the task and like things popping up left and right. Hence, all these contribute into getting you into the flow and help you with being more productive. Speaking from personal experience, multitasking is also intrinsically rewarding. It feels good to multitask and be productive. Multitasking combines our mundane, everyday tasks and creates a constant challenge for yourself. I know some of you have the mentality that you can't multitask no matter what, but I hope you give it another try. I share my own opinion on multitasking here today so that you all can form your own logic of multitasking. Thank you.